The Minnesota Vikings defeating the Chicago Bears 29-22. The Vikings are 3-0 now in one-score games, getting stops when they needed to and scoring when they needed it. That's what they had in this game. They did lead 21-3 and blew the lead. But again, like I said, the offense is scoring when they need to. This might not be the game, though, that you're proud of having that happen. This may have been and should have been the game where you didn't need a 17-play, 80-yard touchdown drive to win you the game late. They got it though, and they're now 4-1. Earlier on in the show, Aaron, you brought up the fact that the Vikings are 4-1, and you don't know if that's really the case. You really don't know if they feel like a 4-1 team. What have you seen from the Vikings?
They are really 4-1, so that is really the case. However, it's the same conversation we had at the beginning of the year, and I know I may sound repetitive, but I'm going to continue to do it. It's the same conversation I just said about the Chargers. The defense is not good. They're continuing to allow things when they shouldn't allow it to the Bears. And I get it's 22 points. It's not great. It's not a lot. But for the Bears, that's a lot of points. For Justin Fields, looking like he's having his best game against you, 8 for 47 on the ground, didn't turn the ball over, 15 for 21 through the air, 208 yards. That, to me, looks like the Chicago Bears, how they want to play football. That's what they want to do. And if it really wasn't, I'm going to be honest, this probably goes to overtime if it wasn't for Cameron Dantzler. The way the Bears were moving the football down the field, and this play right here, coming back in this play and not giving up, that to me saved the Minnesota Vikings, because I truly believe that Justin Fields was going to march down that field and score on this Minnesota Vikings defense. It was an amazing play by Dantzler. You don't see that in the NFL. Usually guys get beat. They just sit there. He gets beat. He gets back up. He rips the ball out of Velus Jones's hands. And
no, it wasn't even Velus Jones.
It was
Martise.
Who?
It was Martise. I can't remember. Like it's a compound last name. It was a hyphenated last name.
Marset. You're talking about
Marset. Yeah, that's what it was.
He rips it out of a guy's hands and takes it the other way. Like that's a defensive play that wins games. Like that was a great defensive winning play. But for the most part of this game, they couldn't stop the Bears. Like the Bears were moving the ball, and the only time the Bears would get stopped is when they stopped themselves. And that's what they are. They're a bad football team, right? So you talk about the turnovers or you have penalties if you're the Bears, and they do. So that pushes them behind the chains, and then they have to punt. Other than that, it's not like the Minnesota Vikings were that great defensively. Offensively, they came out like juggernauts. They were, I think Kirk Cousins was, 17 for 17 or something like that. And then they put up 400 yards. They went 12 for 15 on third down. And at one point in the game, you're like, why is the score 21-19 or 21-17 or whatever it was? Like you're wondering, why is the game so close? It's because that Minnesota Vikings defense is suspect still. So they're a good football team, as I said at the beginning of the year, but they're not going to beat those great teams because their defense.
Yeah. 4-1 right now for the Vikings. On the Bears side of things, to go into them just a tad, this game was exactly what the Bears are. Justin Fields had his best, not to say he had a great, phenomenal game, but he had his best game yet. He kept them in this game. But at the end of the day, your lack of talent lost you that game. Your lack of talent at the wide receiver position, I'm forgetting his name. Again, the wide receiver that turned that ball over.
Marset.
Here,
Smith Marset. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yes. Guys like that, Velus Jones, Equanimous St. Brown. We got to see Darnell Mooney in this game, which is great. That's great. 2 back-to-back games for Darnell Mooney where he played well. He had that phenomenal catch. But you just don't have enough around Justin Fields. And that's what it came down to win football games. We're seeing a little bits and pieces of Justin Fields, his specks of good, but it's just not enough. And that's where the Bears are at right now. Currently now sitting at 2-3. The Vikings now move on to 4-1. We'll have another week where we're going to be questioning the Vikings, though, moving forward and hoping that the Bears can figure out something on offense, take a step in the right direction with Justin Fields finally throwing over 200 yards for the first time this season. But the Vikings do defeat the Bears 29-22. 22 on Sunday.